Hey, what's up everybody? This is Damron. I'm playing Gears 5. This is part of my Master Escape tutorial. We're covering all the maps on Master difficulty. This is part of Operation 3. This is Melee Brawl. This level is actually pretty tough. You're not going to have much ammo to utilize. You're going to have to utilize characters that have melee abilities. So let's take a look at some of the modifiers in this. We've got freezing imago bullets, which is pretty dangerous. If they freeze you, you'll just instantly die, which is going to hurt because Iron Man's on. If you die, there's no coming back. You've got shock wardens. So the wardens, when they attack you, are going to do shock damage that's going to hit you and your surrounding allies. More strength is also on, so the melee attacks are going to hurt you quite a bit more. And we've got some usual suspects, faster venom, more health, and more lethal. So this map, again, is a little difficult. So let's just touch on the characters that we're rolling with. I'm going to be playing with Lonnie here, so that's going to be your field of view. We're also bringing Clayton in. All right, the thing with Clayton is you really want to have that freezing armor ability. That's going to be huge in saving us from cryo cannon, scions, as well as the imagos shooting those frozen bullets. And then we're also rolling with Cole. Cole and Lonnie are really going to be our characters that we're going to utilize as we're moving forward to, melee these enemies down. In the first section, take a look and to the left and to the right down here. You don't want to go down the middle. You want to slow down the left or right side. And what you're looking at is which side has juvies. So whichever side has juvies is where you want to go because you can melee those down. And now we're going to have a good vantage point to take out the rest of the room once we kind of get rid of these juvies and this sire. If you go to the opposite direction of the juvies, you're going to face drones. It's going to be a little bit more difficult and it's going to slow you down. All right, there are a lot of pipes that you can get in this map, but to be honest, with the build that we're going to show you, and hopefully, right, we're not using any exploits, we're not doing anything that you can't do, so this should stand the test of time, so to speak, and all of my guides should stand the test of time. All right, we're not using any exploits. The thing with this map is that they've got pipes, but realistically they're not going to be useful for Lonnie, especially because Lonnie's melee attacks are going to do fine already by themselves. In fact, picking up that pipe is actually going to slow your melee attacks down, so we really don't want to pick up that as Lonnie. Clayton, you can go ahead and grab that for now, but we're going to replace that later with one of the warden weapons, so the breaker mace. So honestly, the pipes are kind of useless. And then obviously Cole's going to be using his dash ability, and that's going to be mainly our focus. So once we kind of get a little bit of weapons and things from this room up here, we're pretty much ready to go down here. And the reason we chose the side that has the juvies is now because we can sit here and we can kind of allow these enemies to come up to us. Your main threat is the imagos. Okay, that's kind of counterintuitive, right? Usually the imagos are the weakest enemy, but you want to take down the imagos because those freezing bullets they have will clean you up super fast, and that's actually the most difficult part about this mission is those imagos. Once you clean up the imagos, then get in there with your melee characters and start cleaning up the mess. All right, and that's really mainly going to be this scion right here. We need to take this scion out. He may not be a buzzkill for you. He can be an ice, he can be a mulcher. I haven't seen a drop shot scion in the beginning area of this, so I haven't personally seen that. Be sure you grab a few weapons if you can from here. Maybe there'll be some enforcers on the ground, a Nasher, anything like that. Now with Lonnie, one of the keys really after you get past this first section, don't worry about the venom. Remember, we're running cards with Lonnie that make her melee significantly better in the venom. She's going to get bleed in the venom. As you progress up these stairs, this is Cole's area, okay? You want Cole to run up first because we're going to have a nice stack of juvies coming down these stairs. So go ahead and let Cole take care of the juvies. Lonnie can come in to clean up any additional ones as needed, but really Cole should be able to clean up those juvies, and then what's going to come down after those are going to be either grenadiers or sires. Both of those are not really too difficult to deal with. There's only going to be 2 of them, so you shouldn't really have too much difficulty with that section. Now moving on, once we kind of get up the stairs here, you can see there's going to be a room on the right hand side. You can pick up some cog tags if you want to improve your score, but there's also going to be a buzzkill in here and flash grenades. We really want to pick up these grenades for later. It's important that you stop by here. Sometimes Clayton can pick up the buzzkill and that can be helpful later on. Not totally important, to be honest. The most important thing is that you get those flashes. By now Cole should have his super. When you get into this room, Cole's going to activate his super ability or his ultimate ability, and he's going to try to take out as much enemies as he can and just leave the warden. All right, and there's two things that you can do here. You could technically pull this warden away and just leave him be and run to the safe room, because the safe room is actually the next room. However, I highly recommend you that you kill him. Now remember, melees, for normal melees from Lonnie, aren't really going to do any damage. You see that right here, but her ultimate ability can. So you can see I almost killed him just from my ultimate ability. But the big thing about him is that you do want to take him out so that we can get this breaker mace. It's going to be very important for the room after the safe room. So that's why you want to kind of come down here with Cole, have Cole clean up all the just regular enemies, and then take your time and go ahead and get the warden down so that your Clayton guy, whoever's running Clayton on your team, can pick up that breaker mace. I'm just picking up some random weapons. Honestly, they're not very helpful. You're just going to have so little ammo in this map that weapons aren't going to help you. That's why it's called Melee Brawl. So that's really the end of that first section. So we'll speed this up here as we're kind of just collecting weapons at the checkpoint, and we will kind of speed that up. And the next part of this is pretty critical. As soon as this door opens, we are going to be sprinting to the ammo room as fast as we can on the left-hand side. Okay, so be ready. As soon as this door is open, everybody, boom, get down into this room and get to the left side. There's a lot of Imagos. They can freeze you and kill you very, very fast. So it's extraordinarily important that you get into this room as quickly as possible. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put Clayton right there to the left of the door, so he's got that breaker mace. And we've also got our flash bangs. And then we've got Cole behind us. And the things that we're going to be dealing with are mainly Imagos and some drones, and there's also a Scion enemy. It may not be a cryo can on Scion. It is in this particular case. I made a mistake here. I didn't realize I had my grenades out. I was actually going up to melee him, but I failed. But you see I have my bleed active now because we are in the venom slightly, okay? And we're utilizing our flash grenades to stun enemies as they're coming in this doorway, and Clayton is smashing him with the breaker mace, and Cole and Lonnie are kind of back for support, i.e. when people get past Clayton and the breaker mace, that's when those characters want to come up and get some damage in. And also by point, you should see Hotshot just got a bunch of kills because Clayton's ultimate should be ready, which is the refractile armor. So basically he just runs out there and lets some of those enemies shoot him, which actually reflects that damage, and they end up killing themselves. So by that point you should be able to use it. And take your time here. It's just out of the safe room. Don't worry about the venom, okay? If you start worrying about the venom, you're going to get into trouble, okay? So the venom's actually a good thing for us in this map. As you can see, I'm getting down here, but as you can see, Lonnie does a lot of damage in the venom. So it's okay to let that catch up to you. And take your time here, because if you rush this section, you will die here very, very fast. There's a lot of enemies in a very condensed area. So main thing, get out of the safe room, sprint to the left, Clayton on the corner with a breaker mace, Lonnie and Cole, your backup as people come in, and you're dropping flashes. So once we finish that up, we're going to go to the left-hand side, and you're going to be in this area here. There are a lot of Imagos and Juvies. Sometimes there's actually poppers as well. Not every time, but if there are, it's actually a good thing because you can shoot the popper and just blow them all up. Now Clayton and Lonnie want to be careful here, because you see a lot of Juvies and Imagos on the right hand side, but what you can't see is what Malicious is over there doing, taking out these Imagos. There's Imagos on the left hand side, and if you just walk up, I mean, they can down you so fast and freeze you. And again, those Imago enemies are not going to down you. They're going to freeze you, and your game is over at that character. So once we clean that up, we're actually going to do a little setup here, okay? Because the next section is an elevator section, or not an elevator, a bridge section, where you have to activate a bridge. So we're going to go to this ammo room right here on the right. There is going to be some ammo boxes if you have any weapons. Again, you probably just have a Nasher, an Enforcer. You may have a claw from some of the drone enemies if that's the spawn that you got. But we're going to put a flash grenade right in front of that door here. There's also going to be flash grenades in this ammo room that's on the left-hand side as you come up here. There's going to be more flash grenades and more shock grenades. So we're going to use these to plant them in a few areas, because once you activate the bridge, a lot of enemies are going to spawn, and we want to slow down that process a little bit. So now I've got 2 flashes in my inventory. I got a flash over there in the doorway. We got a shock right here, so there's going to be enemies that spawn right here. So I'm going to plant a flash right beside this shock grenade, so it's going to stun them as they spawn, and the shock is going to stay on them and hopefully do a lot of damage. And we have a flash and a shock right in front of the door here, and there's enough flash grenades that if you get them from both rooms, you still should be able to do that and have full flash grenades in your inventory. So now you're seeing that our grenades are actually taking a lot out, and we're slowing down the progress of enemies getting in here. If you don't plant those grenades, as we were saying, all these enemies get here very fast. So you should be able to have that setup take out a significant amount of these enemies for you, so that now when people start coming in, now we're going to use our additional flash grenades and our additional shock grenades, if you have them in your inventory, to clean up what's left. And if you've played this map, you should notice the significant difference in the number of enemies that you just saw to compare to the number of enemies that will come there if you don't plant those grenades. So that strategy is really going to help you guys out. So once we get across the bridge, we're going to move into the next area. So there's 2 things about this area. One, you could actually go to the left-hand side and sprint all the way to the door. I highly recommend you don't do that, because if you do that, you're going to have wardens spawn out at the exit with you. They will actually spawn in the exit area, like outside of the door. So what we really want to do is we want to take our time here. It looks a little scary, it looks a little dangerous because the Venom's right behind us and we've got these Imagos right on us. But again, look at that. With the Venom and Lonnie, you can clean them up super fast. Wait on Cole to get his ultimate again, and we'll be able to clean out all these enemies. And if you use the ultimates at the time that I told you, you should be able to get through this. So once they kind of pushed up, you see we just kind of went to the right-hand side. Now we've got cover from the whole room, and we're kind of hanging out. What we're really waiting for is Cole to get his ultimate, which he just got. So he's going to clean up some enemies, and now you're seeing those wardens here. Okay, so if you go too fast, those wardens are going to spawn outside with you. So once the warden gets into the room, you see how that one spawned out? There's 2 of them. And if you wait, or if you go too fast, both of them are going to spawn outside. And what you want to do is you want to wait until that first warden really gets into that room, and now you can get outside and activate the door. And what we're doing, you can actually see Cole, he's still in the room, and he's keeping basic enemies from getting outside. And ideally, you would actually like one of the wardens to get further into the room to where they don't get outside. In fact, I could have potentially led them back into the room and got one caught behind the door, but it's okay. If you can just get to this point with the only thing being outside is a couple juvies and a couple wardens, consider that a success. Because when you hit that door, a lot of sires, a lot of juvies, and a lot of Imagos spawn. Okay, you're not seeing it because we're outside. But if you all go outside and you hit that door, it's almost a death sentence. Okay, it's one of the most difficult parts of this map. So when we got to this point, we're like, oh, thank God, all we have is a couple wardens. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit, because what we're really doing is we're kind of waiting on our special abilities. The wardens really don't have much health, but we don't really have ammo, right? All we have are our breaker maces. And what we want to do is essentially just take our time and wait for our ultimates to get back up, because remember, non-ultimate melees don't really do anything, and if you don't have much ammo, you know, you're kind of stuck, you know, with your, you know, with nothing to be able to do damage, right? This warden doesn't have much health, but we just don't have any items to do damage. But it's okay, they're slow, you should be able to dodge them. This should be no problem for you if you get to this point. And then obviously, if you have a pipe in your inventory from earlier, that's going to help you kind of get rid of them. If you drop one of the wardens, you can pick up the breaker mace, and obviously that can help you take care of this. But anyway, I hope you guys found this guide helpful. I hope you found it, the information helpful and helps you guys get through this map. It is a challenging map. I think this is one of the more difficult maps in Operation 3. So I hope it helped you guys, and hopefully we'll see you around.